Two things for the PowerPoint hard copy, please put it here. At the same time, for those who have submitted the practicum report, you also need to submit a hard copy for me. So later I'm going to show you where is my pigeonhole, that outside there. So for those, next time when you are submitting the hard copy for me, you can just put it over there for any time. No need to wait for me when I'm in the office. But why is so blurred? Why? But IFT stuff is always. Yeah. Okay, so before the presentation start, I have something to close the door, please. I have something to remind you. Oh, why most of you wearing dark? Oh, because of the practicum. Okay. First, in the coming weeks, you need to submit two things. First one is the practicum report with the hard copy. At the same time, for the group project report, also with the hard copy. So I know some of you have already uploaded on Moodle for the hard copy for the practicum report. Later, I will guide you where you can find the mailbox. And from now on, please put all of the hard copy in the lecture box over there in Taipa. And then the deadline for the group project report will be the 14th of May. That means the day before the examination start. So please finish it as soon as possible. And then the presentation today will last for 20 minutes per group. Okay, 20 minutes for each group. So please catch the time. And I will give you some comments for your presentation today. And then you will have some time, I think 10 days, okay, to revise your report. So yes, this presentation will cost you 30% of your of the assessment here, and then the remaining 70% of the group report will goes to your content test meter report. Okay, so and then some reminder again, next Monday, okay, we will have class in Monha, and please attend that class because we are going to give you the hints and also the questions for the examination. So please attend punctually next Monday. So if there is no questions, let's go together and have a look where is my letter box first. Let's go together. Okay. So we'll start the presentation very soon. Want to go first? If no, that you want me to do the lucky draw. Never mind. Group one first now. Okay. We will go with the order. Group one, group two, group three, group four. So group one, please. Group one. You don't know who is group one. I think it's Amelia, your group, right? Yeah. Okay, please come.
Group one. Today, our presentation's topic is
You can see the time here, okay?
okay. Is Hualien Cultural and Creative Industries Park. I'm hosted. Andrea.
Wait for this time for Wait a minute. I will give you back the time, no worries. Try again. Okay. I try it again, okay? Okay, continue.
Start from. Today, our presentation's topic is the Hualien Cultural and Creative Industries Park. I'm hosted. I'm Ruth. I'm Amelia. Presentation consists of three parts. The first part is the general introduction. The second part is the relationship between heritage and the cultural creative industry. The last part is the application of creative value chain. Look at a video about this part.
Not copy. Control A and Control C. Click the box first. Click the word box.
花莲机场有做过多位。那我们知道过去的日本人他们非常提倡过道教的这个文化，所以呢，那也期待通过这几种那里面期待，然后对我们的花莲机场里面是非常。我们在创业区呢的一些建筑的外墙可以发现，有些的木造外墙呢会涂上黑色的涂料，其实那黑色的涂料呢就是我有当时呢房子的一个效果，就在早期日本的房子看起来这个就是最有效、最普遍的房子。
Understanding about this path, then I will introduce more detailed information. Part is a general introduction.
You see the sound you set in the help of the YouTube.
The first part is the development timeline. In 1913, the Hualien Port Factory was established. In 1922, by the Monopoly Bureau as the reserve area for liquor factory. In 1957, the factory renamed as Hualien Distillery of Taiwan Tobacco and Liquor Public Sale Bureau. In 1980, the original site into commercial land, and after 8 years later, in 1988, actually ending the history of Old Hualien Distillery. This picture only shows the development before 21st century. The Hualien Old Port Factory was rejected into historical building Hualien County. In 2000, and Control Construction Association took over. Factory started to repair it and transform it into a cultural and creative industry park. After more than 10 years development, it becomes a diversified Hualien culture and creative industry park. Then I will introduce the geography location. From the right picture, we can see that the park is located in the eastern of Taiwan province, Hualien County. The detail is the largest county of Taiwan province. The economy, industrial, commercial, and transportation industries. And from this, I gradually see the internal structure and building distribution of this park. Important activities held 2022. Twin heritage and first is values. At that time, the development of an area. Of architectural values, it combines Japanese. Also has the necessary special function. Okay, the second is information values. As a historical liquor cultural distillery, Hualien culture and creative parks had a profound important impact on people's perception of culture today. And in our opinion, it's a long survivor of the wine culture in the Hualien region over the past century. And the next one is social values. Many education activities and wine cultural activities have been held visiting this cultural park. And these buildings visiting the park has also been incentive practice and it still consent of and updating and entering this. So obsolescence and conservation methods. The functional obsolescence, the design and structure of some buildings. Cultural and creative industry park is for lighting and ventilation effects. Yes. Such as air conditioning and experience for tourism. The method, it is proposed to attract more structure of the control and creativity. I have this. That's great. Third, possible to repair the building to make the structure more robust, or useful to increase the seismic performance.
Then I will introduce the next two observations. The first one is the image obsolescence. In Hualien, the climate is subtropical monsoon climate. This climate will bring so much rain in this place. So it brings a lot of it caused a poor appearance of building, made it unattractive, and the method is repair the building with similar materials by analyzing the materials that have fallen off the walls. It will make the image is more attractive, and it attracts more people to visit this place. And finally, one is the location of obsolescence. The urban plan cost nearly residents reduced, so the people will very little around the Hualien, and close to railway station made it environment unattractive. The method is interpretation. Telling the story about Hualien to increase the connection and make the people know a lot more about this place. And the second is increase plants coverage to improve environmental quality, because the environment is more attractive, and the people will more likely to go to this place.
Value chains.
1 minute.
In our opinion, this one has the agricultural value because they this event has no artificial value, as it is not a basic building but a short-term expectation and informative value and social value. The word art interpretation is a knowledge of local characteristic word art, which is the risk of the loss.
The third part question. Expression. At the same time, gives the event different meaning, present to the public in
Second activity about this part, the Christmas paper site. This activity include aesthetic value, historical value, and social value. Technology has emerged in ancient China, has been passed down from ancient until. If no successor, it will make cause the loss of this technique. And for the creation of activity to enable more people understand the spirit behind the product and feel the charm both by the design. It also provides a chance to stimulate both interest in this technique, reduce the risk of lose this technique.
The lecturer first explains the basic
Distribution is the event is an open issue with online registrations as the sales channel, allowing participants to experience the charm of handmade products and improve their hands on skills so that people can complete their own personal style, patterns and colors. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone who would like to give comment, any suggestion to the presentation? Or you think they need to have some improvement? No? Okay, then not only for your group, for each group, I will spend more time to go through your content today because you can see from the marking scheme here, I only grade your presentation skills today. Okay, for the content, if you have any mistakes or if you do anything wrong, I'm not going to grade you, so no worry. That's why I'm giving you maybe I spend more time on the content for my comments on the content today. Okay, then you still have time to adjust for the remaining 70%. Okay, so you may need to jot down my comment, and maybe for other group you can also listen to my comment, see if it is works for you. I will go through page by page. First, very good to have a video. Okay, it is very good start because not all of us know about the creative parts and also the video, the selection on the video is very good. Okay, because at the same time you can save your time because you don't need to introduce. And then for the timeline, I think the most important 2 years, 2002, 2006, you explain verbally, but you are not included in the PowerPoint. But in the report, remember to include these 2 years. Okay? And if you can also include some photos in the timeline. Geographic location, no problem. And then you need to for this page. Yes. I think you need to spend some time to introduce what is the functions now. Okay, but you didn't. I know you give me the information here and they stated, but I think you better spend more time on this page. And then also include in the report. And why you are not including the inventory here? Why? Okay. Yeah, because I think you spend some time to prepare the inventory, and never mind. You need to include in the report. Never mind for today. And for the value, the historical value is well written, very good. And for the aesthetic architecture value, the content is correct, but give more details. Example, for example, maybe the rooftop. Okay, it can reflect the architectural style, the entrance. Give me some more concrete example on that. And then, by the way, when I read your report, you submit to me, I'm going to check if you reply according to my comment. Okay, so please remember what are the comments. Number 3, scientific informational value. You say it is a survivor, not lonely. Lonely is 寂寞. I think you want to say it is the only one, right? That the lone survivor, okay, not lonely. And I think your statement here is acceptable. But I think the scientific value is not that high. But never mind, I can't deduct your mark here. But if you say it is a lone survivor in Taiwan, it will be more significant for the value. But never mind, it is fine. And then the social value. You raised up how does it contribute, what kind of activities, but you didn't mention what is the relationship between the heritage and the society. Okay, what is the functions to the society in the past, and what is the function to the society today? What does the society use this heritage for? And then And also one more thing to add for the value. In the video, they mentioned there's the god of goddess of wine, 早酒神. Okay, so it is about villages. So for villages, that means it contains spiritual value. Okay, so you can also include spiritual value because of the video they mentioned the goddess of wine, because it's related to villages. So we can add it in the report. And then obsolescence. Obsolescence, surprisingly, it is well written. For the functional obsolescence, I think for the obsolescence, there is no problem. But for the method, possible to attract more tourists by strengthening infrastructure and construction in the park. Because it is talking about the functions, how do they use? So when they need to solve the obsolescence, that means they need to change the use. Okay, what is the term for changing the use of heritage? Is revitalization, right? So you need to highlight the terms of revitalization here in the method first, and then explain in more detail. And then for structural obsolescence, very good, no comments. But is it Rocho, your presentation? I find some of your information you verbally, orally presented, but not included in the PowerPoint. Remember, also include in the report for the whole content. Okay. Image obsolescence. You say cause poor appearance and unattractive. I think you need to give some more example, like photos, more details, where you find it is not attractive. And then for locational obsolescence. Obsolescence, you describe very good. But the method, you say interpret, also increase plants coverage. They may not be the suitable method to solve the obsolescence. For example, you plant a lot of plants, okay, but it does not solve the obsolescence. Maybe your methods here should belong to image, because when you plant lots of plants, it change the image, then it should be the image. Locational obsolescence is about the location is not convenient or not popular. Okay? You can talk about transportation. Is it easy to go? Okay. Then the creative value chain is the main problem. First, you talk about two products, right? Two products from two businesses. Because not even me, I'm not familiar with the products, I'm not familiar with the business. So please give an introduction of the business first, and then give me some photos of the products. I will know what is it, because now you say architectural information value, social value, but I don't know what is the products. I have no image of the product, so you need to give me the introduction and also some picture for it. And then for the value chain, remember, for the value chain, we are talking about how heritage values are applied in the value chain. For example, in the steps of creation, how can we see the heritage value in the creation stage? How can we see the heritage value applied in the production stage? Okay, so try to find out how they use the value in these three stages. That's what I want. Okay, because now you are talking about really about the value. For example, how can it contribute economically or socially, but not because in the previous page you mentioned there are some values in the products. So where we can find the value? Okay, we are talking about how do the business apply heritage value in the value chain. Remember this sentence. I know you are recalling. When you are doing this section, think about how the business apply the heritage values. That means architectural value, historical value. How do they apply in these three stages? Okay, so this is section 3. Okay, never mind, not bad. I think most of I appreciate about the value writing and also for the obsolescence is pretty good. So not bad. You can revise on my according to my comments, and I think it is not a bad report. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. By the way, also to the whole class, no need to remember all of the script in your mind. I don't mind you hold a script. Okay， 我不建议那个手卡。当然，如果你像 Posy 那样全部背下来，完美。 OK， 但是如果你记不住的话 ，Rachel no worry， next time you can just hold the cue card。
我其实刚才紧张了，跟我
没关系，但是如果是提防会人难免会紧张嘛，我也会紧张，我也会忘，但是我不建议你们把手卡拿出来，但是手卡的目的是什么？当你忘了的时候，你拿出来看一下，你就要记得那是什么，再放手。OK，if you are not keep reading the cue card, then just like a reminder, that's totally don't need to remember all of it. I can't remember all of the content of my PowerPoint also. So next time, I don't want you use just like Autumn, okay? Autumn, although Autumn use the cue card, but she also provides some eye contact to the audience, then it's totally fine. Okay? 不用背，要背也弄不了。Okay? Thank you. Next group, group 2, please, group 2. 你们故意把它印成这样？
不，它后面是好的，是下拉是这样。
我想说这么有风格。
它后面几张已经好了，前面几张。
Do you want to down? Do you have the PowerPoint version, or do you have the link?
No,
Where is the link?
you should plan to click on the.
That's,
It's in building and.
do you want to search here now?
Yeah, but it cannot.
Huh?
Cannot open.
How? Pity sucks.
Yeah.
Oh. 没有了，我给你就先用这个吧。Okay, 20 minutes.
Our catalog. We will divide our presentation by 5 parts. The first one is the introduction. And the second one is the relationship between the heritage and cultural creative. Third one is creative value chain, and the fourth is the strategy. And last one is our reference. The Taichung Cultural and Creative Industry Park is the oldest park in the Taichung city. There are lots of recreational equipment there. For example, the outdoor stadium, the playground, and the tennis court. And they also have some European style building in it. And it is a symbol of the Taichung city, and it become city design historical in the 1999.
Okay, and now it's timelines. Our group mainly divide our timeline into 8 key time points. The first, a century ago, around 1916, is a period that's covered by the Japanese government, and it served as a liquor factory, meaning producing. And around the 1945, it was handed over from Japan to the Republic of China, but it is still making alcohol. And around the 2000, actually at 1998, it was because of the urban expansion and other reasons, the factory was abandoned and abolished. And around the 2002, 17 buildings in the park was declared as a historical site because it's full of history and it witnessed the development of Taiwan and its building style combination between the Japanese and China. And around 2007, the Taiwan Cultural Affairs Committee took over to the park and started the rebuilding project. And at 2009, it was renamed as a Cultural and Creative Industry Park. And around now, it's still served as a Cultural and Creative Industry Park, and it's a lot of activities was held in the park, and it has given the new life from the alcohol producing factory.
Okay, let's talk about the location. You can see the first picture. This park is located in the northwest corner of the Taiwan province. The next picture, as you can see, this park is in the heart of the Taichung city. The Taiwanese Chinese-owned park has initially completed the internal renovation of 8 buildings and are used as art workshops, exhibition spaces, and performance centers, and so on.
Art is the inventory. There are 9 inventory. Cultural product selling area. This is the area it included 1916 exhibition halls or yachts. Go on. In this part, the audience can and art. It included international and the final one. Heritage value. The park has architectural value. We can see in the transformed from the old urban construction sites, and this construction is not only concentrate on the history of this winery, but also focus on the past life of Taiwan people. There are also lots of inventory, such as galleries. Them have modern design. In a word, this Taichung Cultural and Creative Industry Park is a mixture of space that people can have fun and relax. Intensive exhibition and performance throughout the year create a concentrated attract and driving and attracting a large number of students and others to come. It also shapes the attitude of art. It is a good way to make people get more interested in art and creative industry.
Okay, and now let's turn to the obsolescence and the conservation methods in the Taichung Culture and Creative Industry Park. First, through our group's research, we find two main obsolescence. The first one is physical and image obsolescence. It means the subject to physical or structure determination, and it means that some buildings in the Taichung Creative Park were in a long time repaired, and the condition of them were not very good, and so it leads to the physical and image obsolescence. And actually, the next is not the location; it's the functional. It's wrong spelling. And it's a functional obsolescence. When we mentioned about the Taichung Park, actually first is a alcohol factory, and it's for a long time, and it's not designed for the park but the factory. So some of the buildings or the object in it was and it takes a long time to evolve into a park. And now it's about the conservation method. It mainly focuses on the four methods. The first is reconstruction, and next monitoring, and the third is renovation, and the last is restorations. First, about the reconstruction, it means there are some buildings in the park that were disappeared, and we through reconstruct and enable them to appear to the public. And through these buildings, we can use them to bridge the visitor and our building to tell the history and enable more people know its own history. And the next is about monitoring. As I mentioned above, some buildings conditions are not very well, and the monitoring is to evaluate and assess the condition frequently to enable and ensure the building are in good condition and being protected very well. And next is the renovation. And renovation, update and add something new to the buildings. That means renew, make something new. And this means it can, if they continue the renovation and it can follow the popular trends and may attract more young people and so on. And the next is about the restorations. Actually, restoration is not focused on the physical part, but it's abstract. It means through some detail and accuracy part, like the composition of the building or the layout, and we do it and they do it to them this kind of new meaning.
We are going to analyze two products with the heritage value chain. The first one is so there have left a number of wine casks in the park. When this park became a creative park, some artists thought they can turn this wine cask into some artwork. So they clean it and paint some drawing on it. There is the historical value. It does not only express the history about the Taiwan winery, but also reflect the characteristic in the past time. And for there are many wine casks have been abandoned. So some artists which with refurbish on the wine cask. People can come and see the pictures. Also, they can let people have a choice in interaction. And because this park has a long-term, exhibition is a long-term exhibition. People can come here and host the exhibition for free.
Okay, and we are going to show another symbols of heritage value chain is about Wang Qingshuang Central Lecture Art Special Exhibitions. And Master Wang is a lecture author, meaning do the art lecture artworks, and is very famous in the world. And in these exhibitions, it mainly displays his artworks for visitors. And the main purpose to design this exhibition is to in memory of what has Master Wang has contributed to the lecture art. And also it's in memory of and also his art, his lecture art is also represents about of the central old modern history of Taiwan craft development. And actually this exhibition is very meaningful, and it reflects to the history value. It's about something about his lifetime of the craft making.
And the second one is the production. These exhibitions originally opened but because of the COVID-19, it cannot be on time. It actually opened on July 13. And the exhibition shows many artwork of the Wang Qingshuang, and it shows his experience of the lecture work. And on September 12, it is the end of this exhibition. But because he still keep to composing during this exhibition, it is difficult to his energy. And it product shows the cultural value, shows the lecture process, and it also has the advanced aesthetic value, because this exhibition shows the experience of the style and the
About the distribution, Mr. Wang Qingshuang has attracted a large number of tourists at home and abroad through his exhibition. Those personal works can be purchased directly, also ordered through the Meiyan Craft Agency, which is funded by himself. It supports online and offline sales, and can be sold in retail, wholesales, and so on. The purpose of this exhibition is to promote the lacquer art of Chinese culture and reflect its aesthetic value through the style and design of lacquer art crafts.
Right. The reason why the Taichung Cultural and Creative Industry Park is a great success is clear. Their efforts can be grouped in 4 parts. The first one is they used old buildings to tell story and history of the culture. This park have preserved the former winemaking industry complex intact. The historic structure not only focus on the history of the Taiwan's wine business, but also preserve people's past art more approachable. In the park, the outdoor street has many performances, and the space very approachable. It brings art closer to people and make it easy to form communication action. The third one is there also have many features, stores, and it makes the life more casual. The store is located everywhere in the park, while providing dining, shopping, leisure, and entertainment. It also provides art and cultural experience by holding exhibitions, lectures, and art activities. The park also has many bazaars. The bazaar is diverse and full of creativity. Tourists can come and buy some great artworks and souvenirs in this bazaar. And here is our reference.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so actually we have prepared for interesting video, but because of the technical issues, it cannot be opened. So
Yeah.
apologize again.
Okay. So, any opinions from all of you? You can raise some suggestions to them. Then, maybe let me give you some comments first. For the location with the map, remember to give us the internal map for the setting. Remember, the criteria is asking about scale and location. Okay, the map here, you answer the questions of location. Where is it? But what is the setting? What is the scale? Okay, what is the structure inside? Because you mentioned that there's several buildings in the past. Then what is the structure? You need to give me the internal map in the report. And then for the inventory, I think you need to add one more column because now the first column is talking about what is it doing, what is the shop, okay? The second column is the picture. The third column is talking about the genre and the category. I think you need to keep one more column. It's about the building's name, okay? Because you have mentioned there are several buildings inside the park, and then which building refer to which shop? For example, the full accessory studio located in which building? Okay, you may need to add one more column and for the location or for the building's name. And then for the value, I think the problem for the value is that, and also for the obsolescence is your explanation is good, but lack of evidence. For example, you mentioned the park is transferred from the old urban construction sites. So where you can find the old urban construction elements. Okay, again, about for example, the rooftop, the window, or the setting, etc. You need to give me the social value. Again, you mentioned about exhibition performance and cultural activities throughout the year. Then can you give me some examples? Okay, why this kind of activity is so important to the society? And I think what more value you need to add is historical value, because at the end you mentioned in the product we can find historical value in the creation stage, but you didn't mention historical value here, so you may need to add one more. And then for the obsolescence, physical and image obsolescence, that's totally fine, but you need to give me examples. For example, physical and image obsolescence, where is it? Any part you find it, we need to do some protection. Okay? And then for the functional obsolescence, instead it involved into a part, the last sentence it involved into a part. I think this is the method, the solution. Change it into the solution. When you talk about the obsolescence, just describe the problem. Okay? For involved into a part, it is a solution. You should bring it into the next page. Then for the conservation method, remember you need to refer to the obsolescence. For example, you say reconstruction. Okay. For this method, which obsolescence you are solving? I think you are solving the physical and image of obsolescence. And then for the renovation, I think you are solving the functional obsolescence. You need to link them up. Which method solving which obsolescence? Okay, match that. And then for the heritage value chain, you mentioned some of the value, but again, the creation stage carry the historical value, but you didn't mention what is historical value, so you need to add it back. And then let people have closer interaction for the production stage. I think it is a social value. So social value or cultural value. So I think you know what you need to do, but try to find some more, think more detail. Actually, a lot of answer you can find here, but you didn't stay out. So try to. And for the second products, Again, for the creation stage, you are talking about historical value again. But for the production, the aesthetic value, do you mean the aesthetic value for the part itself or the aesthetic value for other things? You say that we can find the aesthetic value here, but the aesthetic value of the part or of the exhibition. So you need to point it out. Okay, but remember, normally when we talk about the aesthetic value, we are of the building. Yes. So it also reflects another problem. You are talking about the value of the product, but we are talking about but actually what we want is the how they use the heritage value in the value chain. Okay. It's on your perspective. And then the last one is conclusion. No comments for the conclusion, a good conclusion. Okay, so thank you so much. Next group 3. So 20 minutes. Okay, we start. Hello everybody. So we are group 3 and here is our group member. I'm Gabriel and I'm Cherry. So today we're going to introduce the heritage values in Creative Park, which is Huashan 1914 Creative Park. So you can see the table of contents. First, we're going to talk about the basic introduction about the Creative Park, and then secondly, we're going to introduce the relationship. Leo will introduce the relationship and heritage and CCI in the Creative Park. And the third, we're going to introduce the application of creative value chain. And finally, we're going to do the conclusion. So in the basic introduction part, we're going to introduce the background of our case study and the timeline of the Creative Park and the scale and scale, location, and the inventory. Inventory means what services or products they provide in the Creative Park. So as we can see, Huashan Creative Park is a cultural and performance complex located in Zhongzheng district of Taipei, and is designated of Taipei city. And since 1999, it became a venue of art exhibitions, music performances, and other cultural activities. So right now it's become an important venue for arts and cultural performers in the center of Taipei. Timeline of the development of the heritage and park. As we can see, for 5 parts, and we summarize it as 2 periods. The first period is the development of the heritage site. As we can see, in 5 part is 19. Did you turn on the microphone? How to turn it? Okay. So as we can see, the first part is from a start in 1914 to 1987, and this part is start at
So we call it winemaking and camphor manufacturing, which means 制酒和樟脑制造。Second, start at 1977 and to 1999. We call it spatial transformations. And the third part is starting 1999 to 2003. We call it arts and cultural district. So for the 2003 to 2007, we call it cultural and creative transformation. At the end, 2007 to 2018, we call it shared by all. I want to share some very important year of during the development of the Huashan Creative Park. So in 1914, the private winery Hozhou Wine Company launched Moose Orchard Stick, which means wine company, one factory, start to produce their products. And at the 1971, the camphor was shut down. 樟脑工业被关闭。1977, the wine factory was relocated to Linkou, and that means the original space became disused. And in 1999, the Huashan became a Huashan Arts and Cultural District. At 2007, Taiwan Cultural Creative Development Company moved into and began operation of Huashan 1914 Creative Park.
I want to introduce the park. Huashan Creative Park located of the number one by the most Zhongzheng East Private District. Is here. This is the current park. The red mark is the Huashan Creative Park here. This is the Taipei map. This red mark is the Huashan 1914 is here. This is the Huashan map. And the building is Huashan Creative Park with defined is to 4 colors. And you can see the 4 colors: green, red, orange, and blue. For example, this the M1 the tower area is historical. This is public safety in Huashan Creative Park. Just like Cutting station, West Tower, and public telephone. This is the produce and service, culture and creative institution in Huashan 1940. According to Wang Ying-Wen, President of the Taiwan Culture and Creative Development Foundation, Taiwan 文化创意基金会. For example, is the MOSA. The active reuse of Huashan Creative Park facility can be divided into 4 types of use: retail, performance, and shop. 会展、演店. This is the example shop. 掌门精酿啤酒. Is belong to the elasticative style. The next is CHLIV. It belong the lifestyle. The last is the enterprise. It is belong to the design CCI domain.
Okay, now we come to the second part, the relationship between heritage and CCI. 1914 Creative Park inherited and developed from its predecessor, which are the Taipei Wine Factory and Hangzhou Factory. And it has 5 heritage values: the historical values, scientific values, social values, and cultural values. For example, in the building, the building in the park, formerly known as the Taipei Wine Factory, reflects the Department of Taiwan Wine Industry. It has important historical values, and we also can see many original architecture styles and crafts in the park. It has great aesthetics. And these are the scientific, social, and cultural values that all of them can show a great impact of the park, great impact culture of the park, and show the characteristic of it. And these are the types of obsolescence and conversation methods. We can see that the park have physical obsolescence, locational emergence, financial obsolescence, and also original legal obsolescence before. And for physical obsolescence, they do regular inspections and maintenance to slow the rate of damage. And for the second one, the park use original structure or original architecture, and also introduce new to engrave a new attraction. And for the last one, the government introduced the roads for old and bold methods to let private company get involved. And for roads, that means rehabilitation, operate and transform. The both means build, operation, and transform.
Part 3 is application of creative value chain. There are 2 parts. The first part is sample product. The second part is transferred and used. We shows 2 sample products. The first sample product is before rendering, after condensing. It is an exhibition. The exhibition related 5 cultural heritage values. The first cultural heritage values is aesthetic, architectural values, historical values, cultural values, educational values. Second sample product is Wonderful Life. It is a shop related for cultural heritage values, aesthetic, environmental value, scientific, informational values. Artists and the content of the exhibition showing the history and culture of the city. The production is to create unit space to showcase different artists' style, but also to have educational values. The last is thing expressed to attract visitors to reflect people's realistic views. Design material sourcing, production process. Priority is given to the use of sustainable and aesthetically pleasing materials that incorporate elements in line with the brand's environmentally friendly materials and of materials with unique scientific or information value and fashion. The production means waste and minimizing environmental impact. Packaging, design, and distribution of goods. Sales means shop, online shop, and direct sales shop in the park. Focus on product presentation and engaging consumers.
So last but not least, here is the conclusion. In basic introduction, we can see the timeline of Huashan Creative Park, and we can see the inventory, which is meeting, exhibition, performance, and shop. Second part, we can see the relationship between heritage and CCI in Creative Park. It shows the value of historical, intellectual, aesthetic, architectural, scientific, information, social, cultural, those following values. So at the end, we can see the application of creative value chain. And we show two examples of it, which is exhibition and the shop. So I want to say, in this case study, we are not just to analyze those part, those information, but we learn more thing about the meaning of creative park. Because Taipei is also a very popular and big city in the global city. The concrete jungle is everywhere, so we just values will be sharing or not. I think Huashan Creative Park is the best example, and to tell us how to spread and protect those values in life. Here is our case study of Huashan 1914 Creative Park, and we are group 3. Thank you.
Any suggestions? Okay, then I'll go through it page by page with you. I think for the background and timeline, I don't think the things, but for the timeline, you mentioned you divide the timeline into several periods.
Yeah.
Like transformation, spatial transformation, cultural transformation, and shared by all. If you divide the timeline into these sections, you need to give some more explanation. For example, I know for winemaking and coffee manufacturing, I know according to your title, but for spatial transformation and those transformation and also shared by all, I may not directly understand what you are talking about.
Yeah.
For example, shared by all, what is shared? Okay, and cultural what kind of transformation here? I know you will include in the report, but remember, okay, give me a explanation why you think it can be named like this. And then for the map, there's no problem, but I want to ask.
Yeah.
There are 4 colors for
Four colors.
scale and location. Next page. Yes.
Yeah.
I know for the orange, it is about the break lane. For the blue, they're the outdoor space. But what is different between green and red? They're all buildings, but why we need to divide them into green color and red?
Well, that's a good question, and my answer will make you very surprised. Because for those green building, you can see there's several more than 5 point marks in the map. So if we can use the green color to describe those red things, it will just like the 20 buildings. And the number of the mark is also 20. I think it's ugly.
Is this map created by you? Numbered by
It's
you?
recreated.
No,
Yeah,
I mean the number is good by you.
yeah,
In this case, I don't think you need to divide it into two colors.
okay.
But just it's never mind, or else you need to if you want to separate the two colors, then you need to give me some clearer reason.
You are not pay attention. Just M and E. That alphabet is not identified.
I know, then you need to explain what is M and what is M here, what is E here.
Yeah.
They should have a reason why they number as M, why they number as E. So you need to explain what is it, or else I'm not clear why you need to categorize in these two.
I guess that you take on. Here, those zones, you can see it. 1 to 5, all in this zone. And actually, the materials of the building, even though they are all buildings, but the materials are different. In the original size, I mean, in the period of wine factory and camphor factory.
So how about in the
It's
middle?
what?
How about in the middle?
Middle.
The green one.
Green one.
You say the red, the number in red, they are the original building with the material is different. So how about the green? What is the material?
Oh yeah, okay. You can see the color. For those red wall is made from the red brick. And for this the concrete.
It seems not. Red number 3, they are not in red brick. Red number 3, red number 3. Yeah. No, you don't need to tell me now, but you need to clarify in your final report. Okay, it doesn't matter. But this is also what this is my question in this stage.
Okay.
And then for the inventory, I think it is very good to divide into two inventory. But I suggest you next page. I suggest you can create two inventory. The first one here is the inventory of products. No matter for the meeting, exhibition, performance, or shop, they are also the products. Okay, then give me a list of the product or examples, a sample list for the products. We just make it into table. I know there's some screen cap from the website maybe, or made by you.
Screen cap.
Yeah, these two. Maybe you can transform into table and put it in the report and create this as the inventory of products. Okay, the next page, it will be the inventory of business. Okay, not only shop, but we can call it business. Then it will be better. Just like Nancy's group, you can also add one more column here and tell me where it's located, which building. Red number 3, green number 3. Okay, then it will be better. And then for the relationship of the value, I think starting from section 3, the format is pretty good because like the first, this page give me a very brief instruction of the values first, and then next page they describe more detail for each value, which will be good. But I think some of also similar to the previous group, you need to give me some evidence. For example, all of your description for the value are too abstract, too similar. For example, the social value contains many historical buildings and cultural sites that represent Taiwan's history and culture.
Yeah.
History and culture is the abstract terms. Remember to be specific. If you the history and culture, then it should be historical value. How can we put it in social value? Okay, and then for the scientific or informational value, how come the cultural and exhibition and event will be the scientific value? It should be the cultural value. You mix up all some of the concept of the value. I think they need to think, make it clear of the what historical value, what is the meaning of aesthetic value, etc. Okay. No need to include all of the value. To be honest, not some of the heritage, they may not contain scientific value. They may not contain cultural value. Okay. No need to include all of that. But make sure your concept to each value is correct. I think the main problem in your group is the concept of value is not clear. Not only Shelley, your part, but also Leo later. I'm going to explain. These two sections, you know what to do, very clear. But the concept of heritage value is very weak. You need to make it clear. And then give me some more example. For example, aesthetic value, okay, showcasing the architectural style and craftsmanship of their time. Which part? Okay, again, like rooftop, the brick, or the window, or the door. You can find there reflecting the architectural style. Understand? Give me some evidence at where you can find out the value. Okay? Because you claim it contains architectural value, it contains cultural value, but where we can find it, where we can find the elements. Okay, so but I really appreciate the concept, but the structure in this in these two sections. Yes, this page very clear concept, and also for the obsolescence, well written, very good, short and precise. Tell me what is happening. What are the disadvantages? What are the problems here? Very good. But just one few suggestions. For official and legal obsolescence, you mentioned restrictions and regulations hindered the restoration, blah, 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 okay? What are the restrictions and regulations then? Like fire regulation or any other regulation they need to follow. You need to give me the points. And then for the conservation method, maintenance and preservation, regularly inspect, clean, repair, replace damaged material. Again, example. Okay, you can imagine. For example, I use this table and put it in Taichung, put it in Hualien. It will be applicable also. That this is the problem. Wouldn't be the specific only can be applicable in Taipei, in Huashan. And then for the financial obsolescence, I think the method, the solution will be adaptation, because you say the site is not attractive, no investor or no user, then they need money. Okay, we cannot earn money from the heritage. Then maybe the adaptation nowadays, because they are renting the space to the tenants, and we can earn money from that. So reconstruction may not be the best method for solving the financial obsolescence and also the official legal obsolescence. So we can think about maybe adaptation and fulfill the obsolescence here. Okay, so but the concept is correct here. And then section 4 again. Is it section 4? Section 3. So sorry, section 3. The concept, the logic, you know what you are doing. Very good. But again, the concept of value, maybe you need to trace back to last semester PowerPoint. We seldom mention educational value, authenticity, and environmental value. We seldom mention this. I can't say that you're wrong, but in common practice, especially in IFTM or in UNESCO, we seldom claim a heritage contain educational value, authenticity value, or environmental value. So better not to use it. Okay, for history. And then for spiritual value, again, no need to include all of the values in once. Okay, like spiritual value, just like group 1. Okay, what is spiritual value? About religious, about supernatural, 超自然的. So I don't think for the shops here, it contains spiritual value, or do you have evidence?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
So actually for the evidence, yeah, why that is two part? Why we don't combine to the one part? Because that exhibition and that shop include those value as following. And just like we do not to explain of the detail of those following values because of the age limited.
I know.
Yeah, and then just like for the spiritual values, yeah, just like the shop of wonderful wooden for life, look is made by wooden, and those product is those traditional Taiwan handcrafts, and also to continuing the
Spiritual value. It is not. After your explanation, I further confirm it is not spiritual value. Remember, spiritual value to all of you, although listen carefully. Spiritual value is about religious, 宗教, supernatural, 超级, 超自然, or myths, 神话. So after you explain, I further confirm there's no spiritual value. Or in other case, I remember one thing we are doing Jiayi, okay? In Jiayi, they take the tree, okay? They call it 神木, the goddess of tree. Then in this case, okay, if they are using the wood from Jiayi with the meaning of goddess of wood, then this contains spiritual value. But in this case, there is no spiritual value here. Okay? Maybe you have further explanation in the report. Let's see. Okay? But remember, we seldom discuss. We seldom claim the heritage contains educational value, authenticity value, and environmental value. We seldom claim. Okay, so you can refer to last semester's PowerPoint. I spent a lecture talk about heritage value. Okay, and then for the transfer and use, the logic here is fine. Okay, for example, in creation of the exhibition, okay, you mentioned at the creation stage, you contain historical value and cultural value. That's fine. Okay, I understand your logic here. And but for the production, okay, you mentioned number 1, number 4. Again, I think for production and distribution, you are describing the social value. So again, think more detail, in depth, make yourself clear about what are the values. Then, or else you will waste the logic here. You have very good logic, you know what to do, but the understanding of the value is not accurate. That makes the analysis here wrong. Okay, so this is a main problem for your group. Understand? Okay. Okay, so but actually I think this is a good presentation, very clear logic, you know what you are doing, and just some of the idea you need to find too. Okay, thank you so much. Next group. Wait, I need some more. You can prepare your PowerPoint first here.
Right.
Wait 20 minutes.
We are group 4. Today we will introduce Chinese culture and creative talk to you guys. I'm Esther.
I'm Lei.
I'm Juliana.
I'm Priscilla.
I'm Harris.
So we have 6 parts of this introduction. First is location. Second one is history, and the third is map introduction. The fourth is industry. The fifth is conservation method, and the sixth is heritage value chain.
That is location. The park is in the number B16, Zhongshan Road, West District in Jiayi City, and it's close to Jiayi Railway Station. That is the timeline. This area was opened in 1916 as Jiayi Brewery by Japanese government. In 1922, it went public. In the 1970s, local people become referring this brewery as Jiayi Old Distillery, Jiayi 旧酒厂. It was operated until 1999, when the Jiji earthquake destroyed the brewery from 53 meters high to only 18 meters high. Then it became Jiayi Cultural and Creative Industry Park, and was opened in 2003.
Jiayi Culture and Creative Industry Park, largest floor area among the 5 parks in Taiwan. Very. So there are many old appreciation and factories that still open in this park. Such as of the left side, they were building around 1930. So the building has the Japanese architecture style, such as the building C and building H. And there is a traditional Japanese factory building style. And in right side is they are building in 1970. And the main cause is the building V. The building 1924 is the first and there are different types in industry in China. The virtual arts and craft industry is more than, and they also focus on traditional art invention. So they will have a lot of traditional craft in the southern Taiwan and virtual art and art results.
Introduce the lessons and methods.
In 1943, the Japanese army built a subcamp in order to avoid the air raids. And because of the air raids, the original place for storage obsolescence. So many facilities and factories were more completed and better in the original place. So restoration obsolescence from 1970 to was expanded due to the increased demand for the improved quality of Koliang, only by the increased demand factories and improving the technologies. Production needs, Chinese urban cities affect the contemporary change. On the September of 21st, 1991, Taiwan is reversed. And because the price of building is very high, so conservation maintenance can solve the physical obsolescence. On March the 14th, 2003, used as the Chinese park. So adaptation or conservation interpretation leads the of the vocational obsolescence.
As far as historic value, the earliest Koliang district Taiwan was established in Chiayi. The factory was managed by Japanese and Taiwan government in different periods. The part of restoration and reconstitution proved the September 21st earthquake in 1991. The next is are combined with new and buildings, which is orderly arrangement. 9 buildings of the Japanese period symbolize the Japanese occupation period. The original 53-meter high boiler chimney was once one of the earlier landmarks of Chiayi City. Koliang Distillery in Taiwan, Chiayi is known as the hometown of Baijiu. The winemaking machine is the most completed in Taiwan. The earliest Koliang distillery in Taiwan represent the history of Chiayi, improve the unique belongings of the citizens, provide lots of job opportunity, contribute to the growth of the economy. People can easily associate in daily life, provide the educational experience platform. Chiayi Cultural and Creative Industry Park will continue to be used for reference and learning. First, cultural values. As an integral part of Chiayi history, it shows the local customers and traditions as a platform. As a communicating stage, it organizes lots of different types of activities and runs the place to attract people gathering to promote the cultural value better and further.
Next, let's talk about workshop. It will then be divided into 3 parts: the creation, production, and distribution. That's the first part. Lantern dyeing tech link is an ancient and inheritable cultural heritage. Intangible cultural heritage. It has the advantage of green and environmentally friendly. Its works also has a unique sense of Zen aesthetic value. Difference of the Zen sense is in Chinese is about the Chinese. Different from the looser styles of the fresh and the fresh post-Toro style, That style pays more attention to the artistic conception and an extraordinary and unworldly attitude towards life. It is in line with the contemporary development trend. And let's do the second part. The production. There has two products. The first is knowledge products. They teach the dyeing techniques to more interesting people. And the second product is about the tangible products. It's about home textile products. It also has the decorative and practical, and also has the clothes. From the distributions, these products are not only sold through offline exhibition, but also through cooperation with different creative companies to put and different works from different audience. Of course, personal side, also the privacy side is essential. People can also learn more about dyeing techniques through the lessons they provided. All in all, from this, we can feel that this workshop is committed to bring the dyeing technique back to the public and giving it a new development.
Here, let me introduce the inventory is contour art space. This is a kind of new pen. Mr. Huang came up these ideas from tea. When the tea flows on the table, he found it was a different beauty. So he decided to perform this beauty by using cement to do the painting. And he uses cement to design and paint to help people feel the nature in different views. And he also makes a lot of production pots made by Sam and Sam's furnitures and some other abstract ink painting. Not only about the tangible products, but he also made some intangible products, and he made some classes for people to making the same utensils. And he has some channels of the distribution. First is offline exhibition. And this is one of the income which he will get, and private design and pre-sold through online, through Facebook, and also the small class and 1v1 private teaching. This teaching also give these cement products a kind of educational value. And these products, because of these special materials, it also has aesthetic value. Thank you for listening, and here is Q&A part.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, suggestion, I think. Then I go through it part by part. I don't know why you arrange some of the structure according to the guideline. I don't mean that you cannot change, but if you need to change, then it should be reasonable for your presentation. For example, you put location at the first. It doesn't matter for the first part, but in the second section, you put obsolescence first. I don't think it is a good idea, because obsolescence is telling how the heritage values were obsoleted. So you should explain the heritage value first before you talk about the obsolescence. So it would be more logical, but it is arguable. If you think it's fine, then keep going. And for the timeline and location, it's okay. You need to practice more for the presentation. Because I know you are nervous, and which also affected your performance. Make your explanation not clear, so you need to practice more. And then for the map, I think the map is fine because as long as you provide a short paragraph for the description, I think it's suitable in the report. And for the inventory, I think it's quite interesting because you are not providing with a table, you are providing with the list. So it's also work, it doesn't matter. And I really appreciate you provide a graph, the statistic. It's very useful for other groups. You can also reference to their group. They provide a statistic, how many % for each category. It's very good. And then for the obsolescence, again, you have a very good idea. Providing the event, it's very good. You provide what kind of event created obsolescence. For example, the Japanese army built a subcamp. Okay, it's good. You point out what is the event, what is the reasons that caused the obsolescence. But for the last two, for the last two, physical and locational, the event, I don't think the event is the cause the obsolescence, but they are solving the obsolescence, right? So you need to separate that, or else I may get lost between the events. Okay? Because for the first 5, the events are the triggers that catalyze the obsolescence, but the last 2 they are solving the obsolescence.
Yes,
So they are 2 different. Separate them into the different sections. Yeah. And then for the method, okay, you mentioned about the reconstitutions, redevelopment. Remember, redevelopment means we destroy the whole building and rebuild with a new one. So I don't think we are using redevelopment in this DAI, and reconstitution. That means we are cutting the building and moving directly to another place. So pay attention to the method, make it clear on what are the methods, what is the meaning of the method, and rewrite the methods here, or else you may use it at the wrong time. And then for the value, very good. Gabriel, your group, you should reference Priscilla's writing, okay? Because her understanding to the value is pretty good, very accurate. Just a very tiny comment. Okay? For the social value you mentioned, it was the earliest Kaoliang distillery in Taiwan, represent the history of Jiayi, and it should be historical, okay? Not social. And then people can easily associate it in things like how. For example, people like drinking the wine in Jiayi maybe. And then maybe just now Gabriel, they mentioned educational value, and you put the educational value in social value. That's good. Okay, this is the practice you should have. And then I think one of the best part in this report is Priscilla's your work. And then for the application, Lei, listen carefully, all of the class. Lei have the best understanding of what we need in this section. Okay, she mentioned about the creation, what kind of value we can find, like the aesthetic value of sense, but actually I think it is spiritual value, because then it is somehow like a belief or religious. So she explained how they apply the value into the creation. Okay, explain very detailedly how the value affects their idea for creating the products. So that's what I want here. And then for the production, okay, I think the production, you have a very good demonstration for the creation, but I think for production and distribution, we can still find some value inside. For example, cooperate with some company, and I think it's social value, yes. And then for the distribution, because they are using the distribution for selling their products, so it may be architectural value, offline exhibition. Okay. And for the production, for the knowledgeable products, I think they are about lessons and workshops. They provide classes. That you better say it is a service. Okay. And for the products, service and products, they are I think you're referring to these two terms. But overall, your analyze in this section is very good. It's the best till now for all of the presentation today. But how come Esther? How come Esther? You are not following Lei's idea.
Because we do this part together, and this art space is hard to do that. Yeah, and it's hard for us to find some value here, but it's I think the SAMP here is quite interesting because
Okay, then that's fine. If there is no value, never mind. You just tell me we can't find any value. We can't find any value related to the heritage. And you can have two choices. If you say there is no value to the heritage, no relations between heritage and the products, the first method is tell me why. Okay, why? And then second is tell me some suggestion. How can they link with the heritage? Okay, then it will be better to link back to our content. Okay, or else this section may not have high relation with our project. And you can choose which question you want to answer to link it back to the project. I know this is a good case, but you need to link it back. This is the problem. Okay, you can ask later about it. But I think this is overall a very good presentation. Thank you so much. Last group. Okay. Oh, okay.